Hello everyone. In this video we want to talk about list methods in Python. So as you know, every list that you create is just an object of type list, and it has its unique methods. So let's see if I create a list like n. Okay, just a list of numbers 1, 2, and 3. When I check the type of n, it's a list, and when I type n and I just add a dot after n and I press tab on the keyboard, I can see the methods that are for the lists. So you can see append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, and sort. So we want to actually learn all these methods today and see how we can use them. So the first one is append. So you can actually use the append to add an object to the end of your list. So if I actually write something like this, um, I can see that now n is actually 1, 2, 3, and 100. So append takes an object and it just adds the object to the end of the list. So it doesn't really matter. You can actually it shouldn't be only in a number or something like that. You can add any type of object. So if I say that n.append another list containing, let's say, two strings a and b, then when you check n, you get that it actually appended this list of strings at the end of the list. So you can actually use append in many different scenarios and situations, and we're going to actually see a lot of examples about this, and I'm going to add some exercises to the caption of this video, and just check those exercises and just try to solve them. You're going to actually get a good understanding of list methods in Python. So the other method is actually extend. It really looks like append, but the difference is that extend takes an iterable, like a list, a tuple, or something like that, and it just adds each element of the iterable to the list. So if I were to add a list of, let's say, a list containing 100, 1000, let's say, and 2000 to the n, I can see now n is actually contains 1000 and 2000, but the thing is, you can see it added the elements to the list separately. So it's different from append. It takes an iterable and it just adds each element of the iterable to the at the end of the list. So you can actually use extend in many situations. It's like it looks like append, but it's kind of different. The other method is insert. So insert actually takes an argument, an object, and position. So it adds the object to the position or the index that we want. So I say that just add, let's say, add 20 at the 0 index, at the 0 position. So this is the 0 index, and it added 20 at the index 0. So you can actually say insert, let's say, at position 2, just add this name, and when you check the list again, you can see that it added John to at the index 2, of this list. The other actually method we want to check out is count and index. So count takes an object, and if the object exists at the list, it actually returns the how many items, how many actually items there are at the list that are the same at the with the object that you pass to the count. So you can see if I say something like this, I want to say that how many ones do I have in the list, and it returns one. I have only one object that is actually the same as this object that I pass to the count. So if I say that n.count something that isn't in the list, something like this string, and it tells me that there is no test at the list. So the other one is actually index. Index returns the index of the object that you are looking for. So if I say that what is the index of John in the list, it tells me that it's at position 2, and it's correct. 0, 1, and 2. John is at the position 2, at the index 2. So what if I say something like this? N.index, that test that isn't in the list. So if I run this, it actually raises an error. It raises a value error, and it tells us that test is not in the list. So pay attention to this, and please note that if you are looking for something that isn't in the list, and if you're using index, if it doesn't actually it doesn't exist in the list, it returns a value error. It raises a value error. So the other one is actually copy. Copy returns a shallow copy of your list, and we'll talk about the differences of shallow and deep copy in Python. But just for now, consider it as the copy of the items of the list. It isn't the list, okay? When you say something like m is equal to n, because lists are mutable objects in Python, it actually m now is referencing to n. They're actually referencing to the same object at the memory. So you can see that m is n, returns true. But if I want to just work with the items and I don't really care about the actual object in the memory, I can use a shallow copy, and you can actually copy the list using the method copy of list class. So if I actually run this, it actually returns a copy of the objects for me. And if I actually say something like this, L1 is equal to n.copy, it actually they're actually the same. They have the same items. They're actually it's a copy of n, but L1 is not n, so they're not the same object at the memory. So we'll talk about shallow copy and deep copy later on, and we'll talk about mutable objects and immutable objects in Python in future video. The next method is in pop. So pop actually returns an object, and it actually removes the object from the list, and it returns it. You can pass an index to pop. If you don't pass any index, any number to pop, and just leave it as the way it is, it actually returns the item at the index -1, so the last item at the list. So if I run this, it actually gives me 2000, the last item of the list. It actually popped the item isn't in the list anymore, and it returned it to me. So you can actually store it somewhere. If I run this again and use some index, for instance, I want to pop the item at index 2, it actually pops the item at the index 2 that was John, and it returns it to me. So when I check the list, you can see that John isn't in the list anymore, and you can see that it returned John to me. So the next method is remove. Remove is kind of different. Remove takes the object, so it doesn't work with indexes. So if I say that just remove 20, and it actually removed a 20, it looks for the object. If it exists in the list, it removes it from the list. So if I say something like this, like let's say remove this string for me, it doesn't actually exist in the list, and it raises an error. So note that if the object you are trying to remove isn't in the list, it will raise a value error. And let's look at reverse and sort. Let's just first use sort. And if you're trying to use sort on a list that contains different types of objects, like this, you're actually having numbers and a list as items, as elements in the list. If you're trying to just sort this list out, it will raise an error because it actually tells you that the less than sign, the less than operator, not supported between instances of list and int. It actually simply tells you that it cannot compare, for instance, a number with this list. So if I had something like this, if I had a list of numbers, let's say 2, 4, 1, 10, and 23, and if I used sort on this list, and let's check the numbers, you can see that it sorted the list out in the ascending order. And you can see that 1, 2, 4, 10, 23. One thing that you have to note is that when I run this code, numbers.sort, I can see that it didn't return anything to me. It actually sorted out the list, but the original list is changed now. You can see that numbers isn't anymore this list. It has changed. It's sorted. It has been sorted out. So pay attention to this. If you're using sort, you're going to actually lose the order in which your original list was in. So if I use numbers.sort, I can actually determine that just sort this list in the descending order. If I actually just make reverse true, I can see that now my numbers is actually sorted out in the descending order. Also, I can use reverse for the lists, and if I check this out, you can see that it reversed the list. So let's say that I have the original list here, and let's run this, and let's just use reverse on this list. You can check that it actually has reversed the list for you. It doesn't sort the list and then reverse it. It actually just reversed the list. That means it just returns the items, the elements of the original list from the last item to the first item. So you can actually use these methods in different situations. So the next one I want to use is actually clear. Clear just removes all the elements of your list and actually returns an empty list uh, for you. So I think these are pretty much um, all the things that I wanted to tell you in this video. We're actually getting to details about lists later on in another video, but please solve and think about the exercises that I'm gonna add to the caption. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comment sections. Thank you for watching and see you later.